OMG, hey chickadees, long time no see. I feel like we haven't done like a driving video in a while. Like we've just been doing a lot of like sitting videos. I think the last driving video we did actually was a couple weeks ago. Okay, whatever. So I knew I said that like I wouldn't talk about boys on this channel anymore because like I don't know, I feel like maybe I was like manifesting like all these like connections dropping like flies, but I don't think that's like completely the truth, you know what I'm saying? Like, so but I'm perplexed because I want to like document for myself like what happened, just so like just so I have it. But I'm too lazy to like write it down like in a journal, and like I guess I could privately like, and if you guys have if you've noticed Jiggity Henry, I have privated I privated like 20 something videos because there were just some videos where I'm just like, okay, these are just like stupid, like these are just stupid, these are TMI, they're TMI, but you know what I'm saying? So as like, because I at the end of the day, like I low-key want this channel to grow. Like I do want a following, like I do want a lot of subscribers, like I want to build the chickadee like army so we can like take over the world. But at the same time, it's like I don't want to be airing out like my laundry as well as like random bystanders laundry, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like where I'm at like in my headspace. So anyways, let's talk about what has happened these past 2 days. So today is Friday. So much has happened. Literally so much has happened. So today's Friday. So we'll recap on Wednesday. So Wednesday at work, I was bored AF, and the Norbit guy, remember the Norbit guy? He hasn't been messaging me for a while, and he finally like, because I went and got the Kung Fu tea and I posted that on my Instagram story. Because I posted that on my Instagram story, he had sent me a message and he was like, oh my gosh, like I have to get this, like the new game just came out, blah blah blah, like I didn't even know this existed. And I was like, oh yeah, like go get you one. And then, you know, it led into the like, so how have you been? And then, you know, we just like, because I was bored, I would just like I kept talking to him like throughout the day. Like that's just is what it is. So to give you like a recap of this dude, we have been messaging on and off for maybe like 3 years now, 2 or 3 years. Like we first started like on Grindr, and then it moved to like Instagram, and that's where it's like been at. But he's just not my type. He is very nerdy. His like music taste is very like 50s and 60s, and I literally hate 50s and 60s music. He like wants to dress like he's from the 50s or 60s, like a very, very nice guy. Super nice, super quirky, you know, he's just like a stereotypical like nerdy like gay guy, if that makes sense. And that's the issue too, is it's not like he's nerdy like in like an intellectual sense, he's just a nerdy like in a gamer sense, which like I'm into nerds that are like intellectually smart. So usually the nerds that are gamers, they're not so smart in the head. Like I don't know why, like they're just not that smart. Maybe they are, and they just are, you know, aren't like articulating their smartness, but I think the games do, you know, rot the brain just a little bit. Just a little bit. So, girl, is that Joe? What was I talking about? Oh. So I go over to his place, right? And he like has like a tea set, and like he makes me tea, and again, like super nice, really nice guy. But just like, it's just cringe. I'm sorry guys, but it's just cringe. I hate to be it. Like I literally say like I don't judge people, like that's not my place. You know, I'm not hating on him. That's him being authentically himself. And unfortunately, unfortunately, I just find people like that cringe. Like, that's just stuff that makes me cringe. I can't help that aspect of myself. I'm sorry, but that's just who I am. Like, so, you know, as I respect him for who he is, I'm gonna respect myself for who I am, and just know that, like, you know, I might not ever go back over to his place again, because if I go, I don't want to lead this dude on. Like, I wouldn't, like, I don't even want to be, like, his in real life friend. Like, that's, like, kind of how this is. Like, it's so bad, guys. Like, it's literally so bad. Like, I'm literally such a bitch. Like, I'm such a cold-hearted bitch. I even told him that. I was like, I'm a cold-hearted bitch. I'm sorry. And it's true. Like, I'm just sorry. Like, once I start school up, like I said, I like to keep my social circle small. I just don't need him to be, like, yeah, so. And, you know, that is very, like, narcissistic and, like, big-headed of me to even assume that, like, oh, he wants me to, you know, like, you know, he wants to, like, be clingy and, like, latch on to me, or, like, you know, want something more of me. But, like, I'm not oblivious, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not stupid. Like, how things were going, you know, he was having a good time, and I was just kind of like, and the way that I know that, like, we wouldn't match is I, like, was not being myself around him. I literally, like, had, why is everyone outside? I literally had, like, a guard up, like, oh my god, I literally hate when people, like, just pull out in front of you and then they go so slow, and it's just like, you couldn't have just waited, like, 30 seconds and done this when there was no traffic. Okay, whatever. So that was Wednesday night. And so Wednesday night I, like, had hung out with, so he's a Cancer, right? So that dude's a Cancer. Norbit is a Cancer. That, like, that's important, because we just had a super moon, and, like, moons are the Cancer is ruled by the moon. So the super moon in Aquarius, which is moving into Pisces, it's in Pisces right now. It was switching from an air to a water sign, and Cancer is a water sign. So that is why, like, all these Cancers, because the next person who hit me up is a Cancer as well. That's why, like, all these Cancers are feeling, they're feeling very much, like, love. They're feeling very much energy to, like, you know, have new they want to have their little summer escapades, basically, is what it is. That's basically what it is. Like, my moon sign is Cancer, so that's, like, why, like, I've been, like, craving something very, like, not so much, like, just intimacy, like, not even just emotional intimacy, just, like, intimacy in general is, like, I've just been craving that, like, crazy lately. So, like, I finally got my, like, fix. But that's the thing, is, like, I left Norbit's house feeling a little bit, like, not empty, but, like, halfway full. Like, I didn't get my, like, the fangs were out, and I didn't get, like, my full satisfaction. Like, I wanted something more, you know what I'm saying? I wanted something more, like, I wanted some action. And he is, like, a submissive top, and that is, like, a major turn off for me, because no, not today. Like, that is so ass backwards to be a submissive top. Like, that's too, like, I'm just very old fashioned, and that's just too, like, that's too much of a mind fuck for me to, like, yeah, no. Like, I could probably do it maybe, but it's just, like, cringe. Like, I don't like, if I were to write a smut novel, I totally could do, like, the whole, like, dominant and submissive stuff. I'm so sorry. I'm just so going on a complete tangent, but, like, in real life, like, I can't really play into that stuff. Like, that stuff is, like, weird. It's, like, cringe. So anyways, so I hit up Jay. I'm not going to say his name. I've said his name before on here, but I'm just going to use his first initial. We're going back to just using first initials. So this is Jay. Or maybe I should give him a nickname. His nickname is going to be Honey Bun. So my Honey Bun, no, I don't want to call him Honey Bun, because what if I get a real Honey Bun? Oh, I'll call him Justin Bieber. I'm going to call him JB. JB for Justin Bieber, because he has a tattoo that he got that is inspired by Justin Bieber's tattoo. So I'm assuming he likes his music. And it's so funny because I have been listening to a Justin Bieber song this week, and it's like crazy that like he was like bringing that up, because I was like, oh wow, like that's, I didn't like tell him that, but like I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh wow, that's like crazy. So anyways, after I left Norbit's house, I messaged JB and was like, hey, what are you doing? Like, I literally was just like, I gave him the, you know, the what are you doing? I was very, very close, this close to just going to his place. But he was like, oh, I can't tonight. Like, it's just, tonight's just not a good night. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So he was like, but what about tomorrow night? And I was like, I mean, I guess, like, yeah. So I was like, okay, tomorrow night, work, slay. So all of yesterday, I didn't think about it at all. I was like, I'm not gonna think about it until like 9 o'clock comes, because he was like, you can come after 10 p.m. on Thursday night. So like 9 o'clock comes, and he like texts me, and he's like, hey, so tonight might not be that good of a night. He was like, the Wi-Fi's down. And then I was like, oh, that's like fine, haha, like I just got done working out, like it probably isn't a good night for me either. And he was like, well, do you want the real reason? And I was like, oh, what is it? And he was like, I'm a little tipsy. And I was like, oh, well, I don't care. I was like, well, do you want to know the real reason why I don't want to come over? And it was like, you know, I don't know like what to tell my parents, because like I don't really be like staying the night at people's houses like that. So I was like, okay. He didn't message me back after I sent that, and I sent him a message back, and I was like, so like, I was like, so 2 questions. What's the parking situation like? And, what was the other question I asked? What was the parking situation? I asked him like a second question too. But he answered back, and then he was like, so then we basically just like gathered information together, and I ended up going to his place. So I get to his place at like 10:30, and he was not drunk. He was definitely like I couldn't even tell if he was tipsy or not. So like he obviously, like, everyone handles alcohol differently. But I was like, let me just, you know, have a sip of wine. Like, let me not be a freaking, you know, a stuck-up little biddy. Let me not be so uptight and high-strung. Let me just relax, let my hair down, and, like, enjoy the night. So I had a couple glasses of wine. I don't even know what it was. It was good, though. It was good. I didn't wake up with a hangover, which was nice. So, and I'm glad I did, because it, like, loosened me up. But I'm telling you, like, with him, it was, like, a total, like, 180 of how I was with Norbit, because I was, like, with him, like, I was just so, like, comfortable and at ease, and I felt like I was being, like, pretty much, like, almost, like, 99% authentically myself with him, which is, like, so freaking nice. And, like, he's a Cancer, too, and it's the same situation with the Norbit dude. He's been hitting me up probably on and off for the past 3 years, and we've never met before. And like last night was the first time we met. So yeah, like that'll happen. And then, you know, obviously it turned into some stuff, and you know, Pound Town, booty pink, brown, booty hole brown, you know, it really turned into Pound Town. And I was like, I was not even expecting it to go that far, but I was like, you know what, I'm going with the flow, whatever. I said, you know what, baby, put it in me. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, this is just so, like, not very Christian womanly of me, but I'm giving y'all the deeds. But yeah. Then he was like love bombing me a little bit, because he was like, oh, you know, like, I want this more often. Like, I want you to come over here every night. Like, I want to hold you every day. Like, oh my gosh. She was like, oh, you're just so cute, blah, 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 blah. You're so funny, blah, 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 blah. Like, compliments out the ass, right? was like, oh my gosh, your hands are so soft. And it's like, he like really, like he has a sewing machine. He wants to like learn how to sew. And I was like, oh my God, I know how to sew. I can teach you how to sew. So like, you know, there's like a cute like little common interest. We're basically like on the same like political spectrum. You know, like we're just very much, we're on the same page for the most part. Obviously he is a man. Like when I say he's a man, like I'm not judging y'all, I'm just stating what the facts are. His room was a mess, but you know, he's a man, like that is to be expected. Not everyone is an uptight, high-strung Virgo bitch like me, where everything has to be color coordinated and organized by height. But yeah. So he kept telling me he was gonna like wake up real early and like make me breakfast, but he never did. And then he also was like, oh, it takes me forever to like fall asleep. He was out like that. He was out like that. He was snoring so loud. I swear I was up till like 3 a.m. I could not fall asleep because like I never like really like fall asleep like next to guys, like, or like because like I've never like I said, I don't spend the night with a lot of guys. Like I think he's the third guy. He's the fourth guy. He's the fourth guy I've ever like fallen asleep next to. So it's just like really hard for me to like fall asleep because I'm just like I'm like, there's someone touching me. It's hot. I feel suffocated. They're snoring. Help me. But eventually, and then I had to pee, but eventually I fell asleep. And then I woke up before my alarm went off. I was kind of just like laying in bed, like just like, I guess I'm not getting my breakfast this morning. And then we ended up having round 2. We ended up having round 2, chickadees. I'm crying. Like, oh my God. Like, y'all. Round 2. Like, sheesh. So, I got all my stuff together. I wore one of my friendship bracelets over there and I left it at his house on purpose. I was like, you know what? I'm going to just leave this right here. I'm not going to take it home. I left it. But like I sent him a little Snapchat like this, like when I got to work, and he hasn't opened it. But like, I don't know. He's bad with his phone. He's very like flazé, but I don't know. I'm like not really like putting, like I said, I'm like putting the pen there. Like that is what happens. Whatever happens next is whatever happens next. Like I have no like, I'm not creating any sort of fantasy. I'm not shoving any like anxiety, fears, hopes, wishes, anything on the situation. I enjoyed what happened. I had a fabulous night. I like had like an epiphany moment like when I was at work, and I was like, oh wow, like I'm actually like, that finally like helped me get over Austin, because like realizing like, oh wow, like this is how a man is supposed to treat a person. Wow. Like, oh wow, like wow, you know, it was like one of those moments where you're just like, it like clicks for you. Like it just clicks in your brain where you're just like, oh wow, like this is how a man is supposed to treat you. Like they're not supposed to belittle you. They're not supposed to just like only talk about themselves. They're not just supposed to be like, you know, like a freaking lump on a log. You know, they're not supposed to just be head in their phone or glued to the TV. Like, no, they're like actually trying to get to know you, and they actually like ask you questions about yourself, and they actually seem interested in like what you're saying. And yeah, so JB, you're a real one. Oh, I'm so crying. Those are his actual initials too, because his last name starts with B. So not be even further doxing him, but Justin Bieber, he's got my heart. JB has got my heart. No, he does not have my heart. He has a piece of my heart. Obviously, he has a piece of my heart because he was literally inside me. Like, and I was gagged because, you know, Miss Thing used to be able to take a good pipe, and that shit hurt. I was literally in pain. I was in pain. It was not very pleasurable. I was like, oh my God, please go slower. I'm like, why are you going so hard? But I was like, bitch, suck the fuck up. Like, let him do his thing. Damn. But yeah, guys. And he's a biter too. He likes biting. He's like, oh baby. Ooh, oh. But yeah, so he's a cutie pie. Like I said, like, if we're like just friends with benefits, like, I'm totally chill with that. Like, literally, I'm totally chill with that. Like, if that's all he wants, that's fine with me. Even though, like, I feel like I'd probably stop putting a pen in it. Like I said, I'm dropping it now. Like, that's why we're making this video, to get it out there, and that's it. We're not going to revisit the subject. It's done, it's did, it's over and out. But yeah, chickadees, I got to work this morning. As y'all saw, I got my coffee and I got my lunch. That was all cute. Coco, the cleaning lady, her last day is like Tuesday, apparently. Like, I think she's like literally gonna quit. I'm actually gonna be a little sad if she does quit, because she's so freaking funny. Like, I'm gonna miss her. And then Chanel, she's trying to find a new job too. So I'm like, what the hell? Like, I can't believe they're both leaving. But yeah, chickadees, this was a nice like little catch up video. I'm like almost home, so I'm gonna like wrap this up here. Tonight is Friday, so I have to go to the grocery store. Oh my gosh, you know what? So these are gonna be 2 separate videos. So this video is gonna be like a standalone video, right? Because I don't want to ruin my like nice like trying the new. I don't know what I'm gonna do with these videos and like editing and stuff. You guys might not even hear all of this. I might just like cut all of this out. But yeah. Alright, peace and love, chickadees. Peace and love. Remember, stay hydrated, stay blessed, and pray to God.